Year after year, we have been continuing to evolve RDC. This, as you know, is the biggest RDC yet, right? This year, we're running 3 tracks: a developer track, a design track, and a build your business track. And don't feel like you have to decide every single time which one do I really want to go to, because every single session this year is going to be recorded, so you won't miss out on anything. And to boot, we are going to have an overnight game jam for the first time this year. However, we still will have our casual game jam tomorrow too, so if you don't feel like staying up all night and getting those red eyes for the competition tomorrow, it's entirely up to you. So I am Grace Francisco, and I'm also known as Bumblebee on the Roblox platform. I've been in developer relations for a really long time. From Microsoft to Atlassian, from Java to .NET, FinTech even, and open source. I've been with a lot of different developer communities. And this is, by far, my favorite developer community, and I will tell you why. I've heard many of your stories. There's a common thread that I hear over and over and over again, that your passion for building, you one day decided to crack open Studio, open up a model, and start looking at the code, tweaking it, and building. Literally, bootstrapping your way to becoming a developer for the first time. Now, I learned this way as well. I left home when I was 17 and started to work my way through college for many years, actually. And at some point in that journey, I was lucky enough to land at IBM. I was doing tech support, actually. And I taught myself a little-known scripting language called Lotus Script. And I was the one and only person in the entire world who was an expert at Lotus Script. And I was hired from tech support into engineering pretty quickly. And I did Lotus Script. I taught myself JavaScript, and then went on to do C and C++ there as well. A lot of that was self-taught. And I was determined, despite my rough start in life, that I was going to be successful no matter what. I see this every day with the many people that are here. And that tenacity, that passion, and drive to be successful is what is really special about this community to me. We're very lucky to have you here. Now, raise of hands. How many of you are here at RDC for the first time? Oh, good. About 30% of you. Welcome. Great to have you here. All right, and how many of you are in high school? Hands up. Okay, so there's maybe 20% of you guys in high school. Welcome as well. College? Okay, that's a bigger number. It's like 40-ish%. Okay, how many are just over it? No more school. Okay, that's about 20%. So a few years ago, when we first started doing our RDCs, I bet you most of those hands would have been up for high school. It's really quite amazing how much we have grown up together. We're continuing to grow together on this journey. Over this past year, we've had massive developer growth. This is really particularly amazing. When I started, we were about 1.5 million developers. I thought that was awesome when I started. Great start for my job. But we're now over 4 million developers. This is such a healthy marker of our developer ecosystem. And what else is trending is sizes of teams. As we bring up the quality of content, like Egg Hunt, big applause for that team. They did an amazing job. That quality of content, how did we do that? We did that because this team had highly specialized skill sets. As we begin to mature our content we build on the platform, teams are starting to form. They're starting to recruit highly specialized people. And also massive. Who would have missed our event, Ready Player One? Our massive partnership with Ready Player One, which was earlier this year. And while there were multiple games involved directly with this, it was so top secret, right? That while it was 4 distinct games that were involved in this, that engagement that we had a lot of lift in a lot of other games because no one knew where those keys were. Deepak, or 2 Blocks to Quit, did such a great job of keeping it secret. Even our own engineering team didn't know which games were involved. It was awesome. So a big thanks to Jailbreak, Hexaria, Phantom Forces, Mobile Piano, and the Egg Hunt team for participating in this massive event with us. And with all this growth in the ecosystem, with all these huge brand partnerships we're starting to do, the developer relations team has also grown to meet the needs of our growing developer ecosystem. When I joined last year, it was a 3-person team. So we have a full organization now that has folks that focus, again, on top developers and accelerating your growth through incubator and accelerator programs, right? So that still exists, and that's continuing to grow. We have a massive program this summer with 50 people, which is amazing. We also have a team that focuses on community, right? Community and addressing the needs of the masses at scale. We also have folks that continue to build our developer documentation as well as our educational content. And then last, we also have a team that focuses on program execution. Last year, developer relations also took over featuring across platform. And we took that opportunity to actually develop a program for up-and-coming devs and giving them some mentorship and nurturing to give them that extra lift in the featuring. And so in that program, we've actually addressed a number of up-and-coming devs, and you can see from last March some of the games that we actually highlighted and the successes that they had into April. Now, I know many of you are aware that we've had very steady growth in our developer forums. Not a big spike, but steady growth in our developer forums. And it's really amazing the amount of engagement and the response rate that you guys have participated in helping other developers in the forums. 83% is really quite remarkable. And what this tells me is you guys are willing to help each other out, and the benefit to you as existing top developers, that's building a pipeline for you for your potential next teammate on your team, right? As we build bigger teams, these are new people that are coming in that are potentially your next hire. Now, the community would not be what it is without our volunteer champions, starting with Bill Thomas, who continues to be a top contributor and helper with the community both on and off the forums. And Unite, big shout out to Unite. Unite has been contributing models and art and mentoring those designers and freelancers. And then Alphablocks, one of our YouTubers, been building great content around scripting and building. Blockface Bob and Blackface Steve, thank you for all that you do to mentor on how to build your business. And Crazy Man 32. Crazy Man 32 has been contributing Lewis scripts through his GitHub repo, so we really appreciate that. And then Echo Reaper for his continued contributions and help and scripting. Cirque Fenner also for all of his contributions in scripting. Woot3, who's also an intern. He's speaking later today, you should catch that. So thank you for your plugin contributions. Then Ravenshield. Ravenshield continues to mentor in areas of design. And then last but not least, Dhammapada for his continued work in leading volunteer QA efforts. If you're one of these champions here today, could you please stand up? I know you're here, don't hide. I see some of you. All right, big hand to you guys. Thank you. Okay, so now I know you guys are aware we have soft launched the new developer hub, and we hear you loud and clear. We've gotten a lot of constructive feedback on the dev hub, and we know we've got some work to do in the API reference section. We're actively working on that now. We heard your feedback. We've made the old API reference section in the wiki available for you to continue to use while we work on this. DevHub is still up and running. We'd love for you to check it out and continue to give us feedback as we work through migrating the rest of the wiki over and fixing the API reference section. So please feel free to continue giving us that feedback in the forums. Now, last year when we ran a developer survey, your #1 ask in that survey was, please tell me what is happening with every release. We want release notes. Give us some transparency. And while it took us a little while longer than we would have liked, we did start off with manually creating release notes last fall. Today, those release notes are fully automated so that you know what's happening in every release. And on the education front, many of you are aware, we're in full swing this summer, actually, with our education initiative with summer camps around the globe in 22 countries, as you heard from Dave. Now, not everyone likes to learn the way that we learned, by bootstrapping ourselves and being self-taught. So this education initiative gives other people the ability to learn in a much more formal education environment. Again, building that pipeline of those potential new teammates that you may want to recruit from. And I know many of you are aware, our other big partnership that's going on right now with Jurassic World is the Creator Challenge. If you haven't checked out that template, it is beautiful. And just like the way that we opened up Studio and started looking at those models, this was a way for us to inspire that next generation of creators and developers by really demystifying the whole process of creating and developing on the Roblox platform. Now, none of this would have been available without the tremendous help of these 3 specific developers who did an amazing job with the template and the AI for Bloom, which is the dinosaur that was walking around the template with that user. So big hand to these guys, Martel, PDK472, and Ravenshield. All right, so this is from our Spring Accelerator and Incubator program. And I don't really quite know how 2 Blocks to Quit got all of his spring accelerators and incubators into that toy box. I think that's literally almost everyone from that program. But what's more amazing are the successes that happened out of that program. 6 of the games that came out of that program were in the top 50. And of course, many of you are aware that Booga Booga trended in the top 10 for many, many weeks. That was huge. And even more important, there was over 186 million game plays across all those games. Huge successes from that program. Who won the Tesla last night? Are you here? Congratulations. And we watch you guys on Twitter. We see the Teslas that you all are buying, you successful top devs. We love watching those videos. I just want you to know, though, DevRel, we have our Teslas. And we had a little race last week, just to show you we have our own Teslas, because we want to be part of the club. And while I may have won, my car is in the shop. The trunk's kind of broken now. All right, so we are listening to you ongoing. Thank you for your feedback in the forums. Thank you for filling out the surveys. In our recent survey, you guys told us, hey, we'd love to hear from product and engineering more frequently. We'd love to have them participate. So we partnered with those teams, and we are really happy to see that engagement happening again in the forum. So thank you to those teams for helping out there. We also heard that some of you were a little frustrated that the forum application process was taking a little longer than you expected. The community team has been actively revising that to make it as efficient as possible, so that application review process is really fast now. And developer docs, we hear you on that. We're still bridging some gaps on that content. It is a non-trivial workload. We have quite a number of people working on that. But inch by inch, we are working actively to make that a much better experience for you. And as we roll out that new developer hub, you will see in the API reference section that we've significantly improved that content. Last year at RUC, we sort of experimented in having some external developers speaking. We had lightning rounds, really quick sessions that people participated in. And what we heard was, that was awesome. We want more. So you're going to see more of that here today. And then recently, many of you have seen that we actually started sharing our roadmap. You said, hey, we'd like some more transparency and understanding what's coming out from the Roblox platform. And so we started sharing that high-level roadmap, which we're keeping up to date with the status. So thanks to the product team for doing that. And those sessions, remember, these are all the sessions that those external developers are participating in. Thank you to those speakers. Really exciting talks. I've seen some previews of this. Really, really great content. If you don't make it to these talks, don't worry. Again, they're all recorded. Now, a big focus for us in DevRel this year has been about building your business. So we've been creating content to help share some of those best practices around building your business. We're actually nurturing the community and getting some tips and best practices from experts in the community as well, as you've seen on our Medium blog. And then some of you, a handful of you, have had the benefit of some early reporting that gives you insights into the metrics of your game, the health of your game, helping you understand engagement, retention, and your monetization performance. We're going to be rolling that out to all of you developers very shortly. Now, some observations, top developer traits. Aside from the fact that you all are making good money and buying Teslas, in some cases, sitting in first class on a plane, what gets you there? You're reaching broader audiences. And these top developers are reaching those broader audiences by making sure that their games are available across all of the platforms that Roblox supports, from PC to mobile to Xbox. And second, these are early adopters of localization. So these were some of the first folks that had their games in Spanish. And we're continuing to roll out additional language support, and these are the developers that are there first. So they are reaching the broadest audiences possible. Of course, regular content updates, if you're not already doing this, most of our top developers update their content very, very regularly, week by week. And then lastly, most of our top devs are enrolled in our STARS program. And in fact, we just started rolling out the royalty payments. I know a lot of you guys have had questions around that. We just started rolling out those payments. We have about $1 million of royalty payments that we started rolling out. And that's $1 million that was earned in that first year of the STARS program. Okay, so now here's my PSA for the day, my public service announcement. We are rolling out a lot of changes to the platform because we want to keep the platform safe for our young players. And so recently we started rolling out changes so that if you have an experimental game, those are only available to older players and your friends. They are not available to our younger players now. And so I would ask you to consider, if you have any experimental games, to start considering changing those so that it's available to your broader user base. And remember, if you have one place in your game that's experimental, the entire game is experimental. And in addition to that, we are also going to be rolling out a rating system. Now remember, we're all growing up together. The platform is growing up, our players are growing up. And as we have a platform that is inviting a wide variety of people to play, we want people to find the things that are appropriate, the things that they're going to enjoy. So that rating system is going to be rolling out. Sorkas is going to be talking about this later today in a session. If you don't make it into the room for some reason, remember it's going to be recorded, so check out the recording. And lastly, we want you to be that next big hit. If you have never applied for the Incubator or Accelerator program, I highly encourage you to do it. The applications are already up for next year. Localize, localize, localize. Get your games into those other languages we're starting to support to reach those broader audiences. Chris Misner, head of international, is going to be talking about this in a few sessions. So let's make sure to engage in that. And we have a breakout session by Giovanni, who's also going to be talking about localization. Building healthy teams. Remember that as you're engaging in the community and helping out, you could actually be talking to that next person who will be part of your team. So keep participating, find that next person to work with you who's either scripting or building or designing. Build your teams and businesses. And use these reports that we're going to start to roll out. Monitor your game health regularly. And last but not least, have a great time, meet new people, find Roblox folks, give us some feedback, and really Have a great time here. It's an awesome event. Thank you.